Make some good old glazed radishes. Kind of simple, but very tasty. Use it when you have a little buffet as one of your hot side dishes. And all you need are radishes, red wine vinegar, sugar, a little butter, and a little salt and pepper. So let's get started. We're going to cut the radishes first. This is how you cut the radishes. There are those that leave them whole, but you know what? First off, when you leave them whole, all you do is see the red. And in cooking, you just want to see different colors if possible. So when you cut them in half, even though it's red wine vinegar, it won't be pure white, but it'll be a pinkish against the red of the outside, which is better looking, and also for the size. The large ones I cut in half, in quarters, because you want them to be bite-sized. Most people don't like to chew a large radish. So this is one bunch. So I'm not going to tell you how much it is. It's just one bunch of fresh radishes, the way they come wrapped with the leaves on it. So just eyeball that and you'll see how much that is. The other items, the vinegar and the sugar, I will weigh. And so we're going to saute this in butter first. Let's get started. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of butter in there on a moderate flame. We'll add the radishes. We'll let this saute for a few minutes. Then we'll add the red wine vinegar and the sugar. Put a little sea salt in there. So just a little white pepper. Why white pepper? Just a little bit. Because if you use the black pepper, then you're going to see the black spots against the white, and we don't want that. So, as this sautés on a fairly high flame, this will take a few minutes. That's a good flame we got there. Now you can use clarified butter when you do this. If you don't know how to make that, I have a video on it. And if you use clarified butter, you won't get this browning in there. But maybe we want that nutty flavor in there, which is nice. So it's all up to the individual. The radishes won't take that long to cook. So now that we're going to get a little bit of color. And then we'll add it's always good to use a non-stick like this one, and a rather thick pan. I think this is Calphalon. They work well. I never have a problem with them. Anything sticking. You don't want to use those thin, tinny type pots like your great-grandmother used for certain things. So we'll give this a few more minutes. Now you could see, I don't know if you can see, but it's starting to be a little translucent right there on the edges. And now we're going to add the vinegar. And the sugar. I'm going to start off with, as you know, all of these recipes I do, I measure as I go. Because most chefs never measure anything. But for the audience, I have to be exact. So this is going to reduce, and we're going to start off with 1/3 cup of red wine vinegar. And we can raise the flame. Very nice. And the sugar, that's going to give it the glaze. We're only going to start off with 1/8 cup. I was going to do this with honey, but you know what? The taste is a little different. So it's 1/8 of a cup of sugar. This is almost like a sweet and pungent. And it'll glaze. That's going to reduce down all the way. And by the time this reduces all the way, the radishes will be tender and the glaze should be on there. And you can pick up some of that color from the red wine vinegar. I'm using a high flame now. This doesn't have to go slow. We can go rapidly with this. So now I lower the flame just a little bit, because that reduction is almost done. Just let the radishes soften up just a little bit more. I don't want them mushy, but I don't want them too hard. Okay, this didn't take long at all, but you can't reduce it too much or we're going to wind up with sugar radishes. But notice how nice the color is. The white is now a little pinked and the skin is a nice red. And I tasted one. It's very tasty, but what it does need, another pinch of salt. And that's it. And I'll put that in a little casserole dish just so we can see what it looks like. Just about done. And then after you put it into this dish, whatever you're serving it in, well, you would buy more than this, I would assume, unless you're just having 4 people over for dinner. If you're having about 10 people over, you'd make 2 bunches. It's just an item that's a little different and that they can taste and just make a positive comment on. And you can make this ahead of time. You can even make it the day before if you wanted to. Very little liquid left in there. And now it's starting to stick. See? And that's what we want. The glaze is sticking on to the radish. And that's enough. Now I'll put it in the dish. And there we go. Look how nice and shiny the radishes look with that glaze on them. There you go. Hope you enjoy this.